Pills of Trust from the Spirit author Diaz da Cruz, psychographed by Andre Morera. Take each day the pills of trust in the Father, and feel yourself connected to the source of all the power and kindness that will lead you towards happiness and inner peace.
Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to another beautiful message from the heart of the Spirit Doctor Diaz da Cruz, directly to you. The Spirit Doctor Diaz da Cruz believes in all of us as part of his universal family, and he uses our guide and model to shed light onto the beautiful lessons that the School of Life is here to share with us. He invites us through his kind heart for us to take a pure trust every day that we journey on earth and also on the other side of life. So we would like to invite you, our dear listener and dear member of our Kardec family, to take a very special pure trust with us today.
Support of those who serve. Those who charitably love and serve life without ulterior motives or without making their personality either exalted or acknowledged are always supported. It is justifiable that those who go through life's trials and challenges plead to be rescued at the right moment. However, when a person who serves establishes himself or herself as a partner of the spiritual world by helping to relieve human pains through Christian mediumship or in blessed service for the good, then he or she becomes automatically recognized as part of a group of those who are spiritually helped and watched over on a daily basis. During the mediumistic meetings, the prayers from charitable workers bring spirits of the Lord in service of love and mercy who visit the homes of each participant, cleansing, rescuing, and inspiring all for the better in the name of God. The support in the majority of times is silent and discreet. And although effective and profound, our brothers and sisters are unaware of the amount that they receive, which as a rule of thumb is much more than that which they have given. There is no need to ask, because this request would then occupy mental and emotional space, which each one should utilize for preparing to donate, support, and help according to God. Those who love are not alone. These servants of life are certainly not exempted from the necessary trials. However, they are strengthened in the midst of these educational experiences. Regenerative and illuminative experiences come to you through your own choice and through life's determination. And support for those who love and serve is a law of life. The more work there is in life, the more love, support, and blessings from the Most High will visit you in the home and in the heart of all those who serve.
So, Mark, what spoke to your heart as we listened to this beautiful message and opened our hearts to take this beautiful pure trust?
Well, a lot of us think that if, we have busy lives and that if we donate our time or serve, whether it's in the case of the example here, if it's in it doesn't have to be in a mediumistic meeting. It could simply be volunteering our time. It could be doing something for the Spiritist Center. It could be giving support for someone in need in our community, whatever that is. That somehow we don't have time for that, and that's going to cause us undue, oh gosh, I have so much to do. my boss is going to cause me problems, or I won't get any sleep, or whatever that could be. The message here is telling us something really important, and that is that we receive help in proportion to the amount of work that we do. And in fact, the good spirits give us much more help than we could ever imagine. And so it's very encouraging that in a way, it tells you how important service is to the good spirits and to our own well-being.
This is the reason why, Mark, the basic principle of the Spiritist philosophy and the basic principle of the universal laws of love is without charity, there is no salvation. What does that mean? That means that I don't have to be a Spiritist, a Buddhist, a Catholic, a Jewish person. I don't have to be a person of any specific denomination. What I have to do is open my heart and have the courage to practice kindness. And each and every one of us have the opportunity to practice kindness on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, we were placed on earth, we were reborn on earth specifically for this purpose. Some of us may believe that the more hours we put in at work, the happier we will be, or the more material acquisitions we have, the more peaceful we will feel. But that is not the case, because in our minds, in our consciousness, it is registered a basic law, the fundamental law of charity. So if we truly want to feel that sense of infinite trust, infinite security, infinite embrace from God, we need to align ourselves with God's love. How? Through service. But do I need to become a spirit of Gandhi's magnitude, or Mother Teresa's magnitude, or the Dalai Lama's magnitude, or Chico Xavier's magnitude to reach that level? No. Our Master Jesus pointed in one of his passages to us that even a drachma, one little coin, when given with love, was worth more than all the fortunes in the world when Jesus, the Master, spoke to us about the widow's mite. So what matters to God is our intention, how we give, not necessarily only what we give, but how we give it. When we offer something of ourselves, are we doing so only for our own benefit? Are we doing so to be recognized? Are we doing so to feed our own ego? Or are we doing so as an exercise to open our hearts to others? If we are doing so to open our hearts to others, be in a mediumistic meeting or out of a mediumistic meeting, then we are truly experiencing the kind of work that Jesus embodied on earth. And since Jesus is our guide and model, we can trust him in following his footsteps, because he still is, to date, the most perfect spirit to ever incarnate on earth. How do I know that? Very simple. In the Spirit's book, Kardec, as a wise educator and researcher, asked this very question to the illuminated minds. He asked, who could be the best reference for us in terms of moral advancement, since we now know that our moral growth is the primary reason why we reincarnate? Since that is our goal, who should we emulate? And the answer of the spirits, the illuminated minds, is simply astonishing. We might think that they wrote a whole dissertation about it to prove their points, but no, the answer was just one word long, and that word was Jesus, period. They didn't even try to justify themselves because Jesus' the master's examples and actions spoke a lot more than his words. This is why he never even wrote anything, because he knew that his examples would be forever registered in the psyche of humanity. This is why we know about his life and the life of his followers, but we don't know about the lives of the people who persecuted the Christians in as much detail. We don't know about all the names of the emperors and all the actions that they took hundreds of years ago, but we still know the most beautiful events that Christ experienced on earth 2,000 years later. Why? Because he came to serve. He didn't expect to be served, rather, he came to serve. He, in an act of extreme humility, when his apostles were arguing about how great the Christian philosophy should become, he decided to kneel down and wash his apostles' feet. And he said, as we know, those who desire to be the greatest should lower themselves. What a beautiful image and feeling and visualization to keep in mind. Neuroscience, according to our dear Dr. Vanessa Anzalone, already proves to us that if we visualize a particular scene or a particular person with a certain intensity, we will start emulating that person. Of course, it might take us hundreds of years to learn to emulate Jesus, but we can start small. For example, instead of speaking ill of the current president of the United States, for example, President Trump, we could practice saying, well, he seems to love his children, according to the images I saw on the internet. His family seems to be very united, so God willing, he will unite the country as well. Like me, he is a child of God. For God, there is no distinction between myself and President Trump. So I can practice kindness in this way. When someone is rude to me, for example, rather than responding, I can just simply learn to let it go. In one of the messages we, Mark, recently heard from the Spirit Joanna de Angelis, she reminded us that we have the choice and the right not to respond to aggressive behavior. That in and of itself is an act of kindness. So instead of judging the person who is acting literally out of their minds, we say to ourselves, oh God, envelop this person in your infinite love, because if they only knew the consequences for themselves and for others of what they are doing, if they could foresee the consequences, the long-term consequences of what they are doing now, they would for certain change their behavior. So forgive them, because literally they don't know what they are doing. So maybe we could, as a community, take in the trust, the pure trust that shows to us in terms of our emotions and perspectives that everyone is a child of God. And let us practice relating to people with that in mind. But how do I do that? I could visualize a person with whom I have a challenging relationship for the moment. It could even be President Trump, if that's the case for us. Visualize that person being embraced by the Master. And we say, I surrender you to the Master of Love, to the Doctor of all souls, knowing that you deserve to love and to be loved. I surrender you to the Master of Love, the Doctor of all souls, knowing that you deserve to love and to be loved. I surrender you to the Doctor of all hearts and all souls, knowing for certain that through your divine nature, you were born with the ability to love and to be loved. And let us allow this current of love to become a reality for us, because as Dr. Diaz da Cruz tells us for a fact, the more we offer love, the more love returns to us, because the loving spirits who are aligned with the Christ consciousness return to us 100-fold of the little that we are able to give. So let us keep the beautiful spirit Francis of Assisi in mind and his attitude of service when he taught us that we should strive to be an instrument of peace, and rather to be consoled, we should strive to console. Rather than to be understood, we should strive to understand. Rather than to be forgiven, we should strive to forgive. Rather than to receive, we should strive to give. So let us visualize, feel, and embody these beautiful vibrations of love, knowing that we too are divine creatures that were born to love and to be loved.